എല്ലാവർക്കും പുതിയൊരു വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം. ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു ABG ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ നടത്തുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ മുന്നത്തെ വീഡിയോയിൽ ABGനെ കുറിച്ചുള്ളൊരു ബ്രീഫ് ഇൻട്രൊഡക്ഷൻ ആണ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്തിരുന്നത്. എന്താണ് ABG, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ABG ഇന്റർപ്രിട്ടേഷൻ, എന്താണ് അലൻ ടെസ്റ്റ്. അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു ABG ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പഠിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുക.
Arterial blood gases are simply the measurements of the acidity or alkalinity of the arterial circulation. It also measures gases such as oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now we are going to talk about 4 important components that are in your ABG, and those are your pH, your CO2 or carbon dioxide, your HCO3 or bicarbonate, your PaO2 or oxygen. And we're going to talk about them one by one, starting with your pH. The pH is pretty much the measurement of how acidic or alkalotic the blood is. Your normal value for your pH is 7.35 to 7.45, and we are going to talk about the significance of these numbers later on. Next component would be your PaCO2. Your PaCO2 is pretty much the measurement of carbon dioxide, and our normal value for this is 35 to 45. Now it is easy to remember 35 to 45 because if you look at our pH, your pH is 7.35 to 7.45. So just remember 35 to 45 for carbon dioxide. Another concept that I need you guys to remember about PaCO2 or carbon dioxide is that it is being controlled by your lungs. Of course, we breathe out carbon dioxide. Another thing that I want you to relate with carbon dioxide would be acid. Now, I'm not saying that carbon dioxide is an acid. What we're trying to get here is that the amount of carbon dioxide is directly proportional to the number of hydrogen ions being produced, which is related to acid. We're not going to discuss biochemistry here, but all I'm saying is that the more carbon dioxide you have in your blood, the more acidic your blood is. If you look at your normal value here, 35 to 45, if your number is above 45, which indicates that there is more carbon dioxide in your blood, then your blood tends to be on the acidic side. On the other hand, if your value is less than 35, your blood tends to be on the basic side. Next up is your HCO3. Your HCO3 is your bicarbonate. Your normal value for your bicarbonate is 22 to 26. The bicarbonate is being controlled by your kidneys. And just to maintain the pH within the normal range, your lungs and your kidneys tend to work hand in hand to maintain a pH of 7.35 to 7.45. And we will talk about that later on today when we talk about compensation. Earlier, I mentioned that when you see carbon dioxide, relate that with acid. If you see bicarbonate, think about base. The more bicarbonate you have in your blood, the more basic your blood is. If your bicarbonate is more than 26, your blood tends to be on the basic side. On the other hand, if it's less than 22, that means you don't have enough bicarbonate in your blood tends to be on the acidic side. Lastly is your PaO2 or oxygen. This is also being regulated by our lungs, and our normal value for this is 80 to 100. Now, although this is important for us to check when reading our patient's ABG, we don't really need the number when it comes to interpreting whether your patient is having respiratory or metabolic, acidosis or alkalosis. This simply will tell us whether your patient is having hypoxemia or not. But am I saying disregard PaO2 all completely? Of course not. Just for the sake of the lecture, when you need to interpret your ABG, whether it's metabolic or respiratory, acidosis or alkalosis, you just need to look at your pH, your PaCO2, and your HCO3. Does your patient have hypoxemia? Look at the PaO2. Again, your pH refers to the acidity or alkalinity of your blood, and the normal value is 7.35 to 7.45. Your PaCO2 is your carbon dioxide, which the normal value is 35 to 45, and when you see carbon dioxide, think about acid. HCO3, your bicarbonate, your normal value is 22 to 26, and when you think about bicarbonate, think about base. And lastly, your PaO2, your oxygen, it is 80 to 100. Unfortunately, there is no other way around this but just to memorize these numbers. But if you do memorize these numbers, trust me on this, interpreting ABGs will be a breeze for you.